There's a peculiar ache, isn't there? It isn't the sharp pain of a wound, but a dull, pervasive thrum that lives just beneath the surface of things. You might feel it most acutely at around age 39, or maybe it began at 19. The numbers don't really matter. It's the feeling. The feeling that you are standing behind a pane of glass, watching everyone else participate in a grand celebration whose music you can't quite hear. You see their mouths moving, you see the dancing, you see the clinking of glasses, and you can logically understand the sequence of events, but the melody, the fundamental reason for it all, eludes you. And this creates a loneliness of a very specific and profound kind. It is not the loneliness of being alone in a room. It is the loneliness of being in a room full of people and realizing that you speak a different language. You try to join in. You learn the steps to the dance, you mouth the words to the song, you raise your glass when everyone else does. But your smile feels like a mask you've borrowed, and your laughter sounds like a recording played a fraction of a second too late. And the effort, oh, the sheer monumental effort of maintaining this performance is exhausting. It drains you in a way that a full day of hard physical labor never could. You come home and collapse, not from moving your body, but from holding your soul in a shape that does not belong to it. And in those quiet moments, the question arises, whispered from some deep, forgotten part of yourself. What is wrong with me? Why can't I just enjoy this? Why do I see the strings on the puppets when everyone else is captivated by the show? You look at your life, the job, the relationships, the expectations you've tried to meet, and you feel like a failure, a ghost at the feast of life. But what if I were to propose something else entirely? What if that feeling of alienation, that exhaustion, that profound sense of being wrong, is not a symptom of your brokenness, but the first stirring of a profound and sacred function? What if you are not failing at the game, but waking up from it? What if this ache is not a sign of sickness, but the growing pains of a healer? Because the first act of any true healing is to notice the wound. And you, my friend, are one of those who cannot help but notice. You see, the society we have constructed is a magnificent and elaborate play. It's a collective dream, a set of agreements we all made long ago to keep things orderly and predictable. We've agreed on what success looks like. We've agreed on what is valuable. We've agreed on the right way to feel, the right things to want, the proper masks to wear for the proper occasions. It is a game of accumulation, accumulating wealth, status, approval, experiences. A frantic climbing of ladders that we built ourselves, leading to rooms that we ourselves designed, whose value we ourselves invented. And for the most part, it works. As long as everyone believes in the play is real. As long as everyone is invested in the rules of the game is compelling. The adormecidos, the sleepers, are not malicious. They are simply dedicated actors fully immersed in their roles. They believe in the script. They cherish their props. Their identity is so fused with their character that they have forgotten there is an actor underneath. Your pain, your fundamental dissonance, arises from a simple, terrifying fact. You are starting to forget your lines. You look at the script and the words seem hollow. You look at the other actors and you see not the king or the beggar, but a fellow human being in a costume, sweating under the stage lights. You have begun to see the artifice. And this is the great secret of the sickness you feel. It is the perfectly sane reaction of a conscious mind to a world built on a collective trance. Your exhaustion is not a personal failing. It is the psychic friction generated by pretending that the emperor is, in fact, wearing clothes. The anxiety you feel is not a disorder.
It is the tremor of a reality deeper than the play, shaking the foundations of the stage. You are not maladjusted to reality. You are maladjusted to the shared illusion. And that in itself is the beginning of a profound kind of sight. This is the very heart of the matter. This is the great reframing. We must take what you have labeled your greatest weaknesses and hold them up to the light, to see that they are, in fact, the facets of a rare and beautiful gem. We must explore the 7 great signs of this nature, not as a checklist, but as a journey into the territory of your own soul. The first of these signs is that you are, in essence, a mirror. You may have noticed this your entire life. People have very strong reactions to you, often immediately and for reasons they cannot articulate. Some are drawn to you with an almost desperate intensity, pouring out their life stories within 5 minutes of meeting you. They feel a sense of safety, of being seen, that they find nowhere else. Others, however, react with suspicion, irritation, or outright hostility. They find you too intense, too quiet, or they simply feel an inexplicable urge to get away from you. For years, you have likely blamed yourself for this. You've tried to be less intense, more cheerful, more agreeable. You've contorted yourself into 1,000 different shapes to avoid causing these ripples. But you are missing the point. The reaction is not about you. It is about them. A natural healer's presence is one of deep, resonant authenticity. You are a still pool of water in a world of frantic motion. And when people look into you, they see their own reflection with startling clarity. Those who are ready to see their own truth, their own pain, their own beauty, feel an immense sense of relief in your presence. They see themselves, and it is a homecoming. But those who are desperately clinging to their masks, their roles, their illusions, when they look at you, they see the cracks in their own facade. Your quiet authenticity doesn't judge them, but it serves as a stark contrast to their own performance, and this makes them deeply uncomfortable. They are not reacting to you, they are reacting to the self they are trying to hide. You do not cause the disturbance. Your stillness merely reveals the disturbance that was already there. You are a mirror, and some people are not ready to look. The second sign is that you are a librarian of lost feelings. You walk into a room and you feel a sadness that hangs in the air like dust motes in a sunbeam. You sit next to a smiling stranger on a bus and are suddenly flooded with a wave of unspoken grief. This has likely confused you for most of your life. You've been called too sensitive, overly emotional. You've believed you were unstable, that your own emotions were a chaotic, untrustworthy sea. But you have been misdiagnosing the phenomenon. You are not just feeling your own emotions, you are feeling the room. You are an empathic resonator, a psychic space that registers the emotional residue of the world around you. Society teaches us to repress, to deny, to push down any feeling that is inconvenient or unproductive. We are masters of the brave face, the stiff upper lip. But emotions are energy. They do not simply vanish when they are ignored. They linger. They saturate the spaces we inhabit. They cling to people like a faint perfume of sorrow or rage. You, the natural healer, have an antenna that is finely tuned to these subtle frequencies. You're not creating these feelings, you are perceiving them. You are the one who feels the collective shadow, the unspoken pain of the family, the repressed anxiety of the office. Your gift is to feel what has been disowned. For a long time, this feels like a curse. It is an immense burden to carry the emotional weight of a world that refuses to acknowledge it. But the first step to liberation is to understand its source. To learn to ask, when a powerful wave of emotion washes over you, is this mine? 9 times out of 10, you will find it is not. You are simply a librarian, noticing the books that others have left on the tables, forgotten, and unclaimed. This leads us directly to the third sign. You crave solitude not as an escape, but as a cleansing. For many people, solitude is a terrifying state. It is a confrontation with the void, a silent room where all the anxieties they've been running from finally catch up. So they fill their lives with noise, with distraction, with constant doing. But for you, solitude is something else entirely. It is a sanctuary. It is a necessity. It is like a diver coming up for air after being submerged in the murky, clamoring depths of the social world. The time you spend alone is not empty. It is a vital process of discharging the psychic static you have accumulated. It is in these quiet hours that you can sift through the feelings, untangle the energies, and distinguish what is yours from what you have picked up from others. It is a return to your own baseline frequency. You may feel guilty for this need. You may be called selfish or antisocial for turning down invitations, for needing to retreat. But you must understand this is as necessary to your well-being as breathing. A sponge that is perpetually soaking up water without ever being wrung out becomes saturated, heavy, and useless. Your solitude is the sacred act of wringing yourself out, of returning to a state of clear, receptive emptiness. It is not an escape from the world, but a way of being able to return to it, whole. Then there is the fourth, and perhaps most socially alienating sign. You see the game behind the game. Small talk feels physically painful to you. It is not that you are arrogant or believe you are above it. It is that you see the intricate, unspoken machinery operating beneath the surface of the words. You see the subtle bids for validation, the jockeying for status, the carefully constructed narratives of self, the fear of silence. It feels like watching two people read from different, very boring scripts, and the sheer inefficiency of it all is maddening. You yearn for conversations that dive beneath the surface, that touch upon the real. You want to know what makes people feel alive, what they are afraid of in the dark, what secret dreams they hold in their hearts. You are not interested in the weather or the traffic, because you sense, with every fiber of your being, that these are just distractions from the magnificent, terrifying, beautiful business of being human. This clarity can be a lonely thing. It makes it difficult to participate in much of what passes for social interaction. You feel like a sober person at a drunken party. You see the slurred speech and the stumbling logic, and you can't bring yourself to pretend that it's profound. This is not cynicism. Cynicism is a sour rejection of the world. What you have is clarity. It is the ability to see the code behind the program, the strings on the marionettes. It is a lonely view, but it is a true one. And from this place of truth, real connection, however rare, becomes possible. The fifth sign is a beautiful paradox. You are drawn to the cracks, the broken things, the people and places that have been scarred by life. While much of the world is chasing perfection, the perfect body, the perfect career, the perfect family photo, you find yourself drawn to the imperfect, the messy, the real. You are more comfortable in the presence of someone's honest tears than their forced smile. You find more beauty in a weathered, wrinkled face than in one that is artificially smooth. This is because you understand, on an intuitive level, that the cracks are where the light gets in. The scars are the map of a life that has been lived, a story of survival and resilience. You are not a wound dweller who revels in misery. Rather, you are a connoisseur of authenticity. And authenticity is rarely found in the polished, pristine surfaces of life. It is found in the moments of vulnerability, in the admission of failure, in the courage to show one's broken places. You are a natural healer because you are not afraid of the dark. You know that wholeness is not the absence of brokenness, but the integration of it. Your ability to sit with pain, your own and others, without needing to immediately fix it or run from it, is one of the most profound healing gifts you can offer the world. You bring the gold to fill the cracks, simply by being present to them. And this leads to the sixth sign, which is the culmination of a long, difficult journey. You have stopped trying. There was likely a time when, armed with your sensitivity, you became a frantic fixer. You saw the pain in everyone, and you made it your mission to save them. You gave advice, you offered solutions, you carried the burdens of everyone you loved. And you burned out. You became resentful and exhausted, because you discovered the hard truth that you cannot walk another person's path for them. The true healer understands the wisdom of non-interference. It is the wisdom of a gardener who knows you cannot pull on a sprout to make it grow faster. All you can do is tend the soil, provide the water and the sunlight, and trust the innate intelligence of the seed to do its own work. Your healing has transformed from an active, effortful doing into a passive, powerful being. Your gift is now your presence. You offer a sanctuary of non-judgmental awareness where people can finally be honest with themselves. You don't offer them a map, you offer them a quiet, well-lit space where they can unfold their own map and find their own way. This is the great paradox of healing. The less you try to change someone, the more you create the conditions in which they can change themselves. You have let go of the role of the Savior and have stepped into the much more powerful role of the witness. Finally, the seventh sign. You feel an unspeakable connection to the natural world. In the company of humans, you often feel drained, confused, on guard. But in a forest, by the ocean, in the presence of an animal, you feel a sense of homecoming. A deep peace descends upon you. This is because nature does not play the human game. A tree does not pretend to be anything other than a tree. It does not apologize for taking up space. A river does not ask for permission to flow. An animal lives in a state of pure presence, free from the anxieties of the past and future that plague the human mind. In nature, you find a reflection of your own deepest, most authentic self. The world of trees and wind and water validates the part of you that is wild, untamed, and true. It doesn't demand that you perform or explain yourself, it simply allows you to be. Animals are often calm in your presence because they sense this lack of artifice. They do not sense a predator, nor do they sense a nervous, grasping energy. They sense a fellow being who is simply present. This connection is not just a pleasant hobby or a preference for the outdoors. It is a deep spiritual nourishment. It is the wellspring you return to remember who you were before the world told you who you should be. It is the ultimate confirmation that your true nature is in alignment not with the frantic, artificial constructions of human society, but with the vast, ancient, silent wisdom of the cosmos itself. So you see, the pieces fit together. Your sensitivity is not a flaw, it is your diagnostic tool. Your need for solitude is not antisocial, it is your necessary medicine. Your inability to tolerate superficiality is not arrogance, it is a hunger for truth. Your gravitation towards the broken is not morbid, it is the source of your compassion. You are not broken. You are a finely tuned instrument in a world that is playing a loud, chaotic, and often dissonant song. The problem has never been you. The problem is that you have been trying to tune yourself to a symphony that is fundamentally out of key. And so a new kind of quiet settles in. It is not the silence of resignation, but the silence of understanding. The frantic need to fit in begins to dissolve, replaced by a quiet, dignified sense of self-possession. The loneliness may still visit, but it is no longer the terrifying ghost of inadequacy. It is now the quiet companion of integrity. It is the clean, open space that surrounds a mountain peak. There is a power in this, a power that has nothing to do with control or influence over others. It is the power of no longer being controlled by the game. It is the freedom of the wave that finally realizes it is the ocean. So the next time you feel that familiar ache, that dissonance, that sense of being an alien on your own planet, do not push it away. Do not label it anxiety or depression or failure. Pause, breathe, and ask it with genuine curiosity, what truth are you revealing to me right now? What part of the play are you showing me? What mask are you inviting me to let go of? Listen to its answer. For this feeling is not your enemy. It has never been your enemy. It is your compass. It is your guide. It is the voice of your own deep soul, calling you away from the noise of the stage and back to the profound, silent, healing truth of who you really are. And in that listening, you will find not a cure for your pain, but a purpose for it. And that, my friend, is the beginning of everything.